What's the weirdest fetish you've ran into from a man?
Ooh, that's
Fetish?
A good
Weirdest
right
fetish?
That's a good question.
That man just like you weren't really into it, but he was kind of adamant on it.
Smelling my butt.
That's so weird. That's so random.
Is he a dog?
Like, he just wanted to smell like
He
sniff
didn't want to eat it.
Oh,
he didn't
that
want to
was-
have sex.
that's-
He just wanted to smell.
What?
Hold on, this nigga.
He didn't want to have sex?
No, he just wanted
No.
smell your peen, smell the thong after you've been walking around in it all day. He just like the butt smell.
He likes the butt smell. He likes the butt smell. I'm so done.
Swear to God.
How does your butt smell?
Oh my God. That
Good, I guess.
Yo, listen, I've learned this. This is my motto in life too, right? When a girl tell you no, don't press it.
Okay.
You press it 1, 2, 3 just because I'm in sales. You know, just because you're in sales, you got to give it that 3 no's.
You never know.
After that, because you don't know what she's protecting you from. You don't.
Oh, that's spooky.
Niggas be
Bitch,
telling
I'll
you
kill you. I'll kill
Yo,
you.
a girl know her body
Fucking
better
kill
than
you.
nobody
That's
else.
why I'm not with the cheating
There's
shit.
a reason
I'm
why
not
a
with
girl
the
is
cheating
telling you
shit.
no.
Nah,
man.
not right now.
That's some
Nah,
real
nah,
shit.
nah.
Like, if a girl keep telling you no, bro, don't keep pressing it
That's
after a while. She's
spooky.
protecting you from something for herself, my nigga.
That's
She
free
knows
game.
the decision she made in her past. She knows how it's going to affect you.
Oh my God.
She told you no.
Yes.
Okay.
No, it's not even that. It's because I know that
You felt it.
when you're in certain situations where your dick just like, nigga, I want you to get hard, but it just don't get hard. Don't
Negative
press
vibe.
it.
The vibe is not good.
Don't press it.
Wow.
I don't care how stupid you look to that bitch after. There's a reason why your dick didn't get hard, my nigga. Her energy was completely off, no matter how good her vibe was. When it came to sex, her energy was off.
Don't force it.
Don't force it.
We're not forcing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Never
Because when you
force
force it, now, whatever happened, no matter how small it is, you regret it. Instantly.
You have to go with your instincts.
That's what I'm
Always.
saying. That's what I don't
'Cause
care
you
what
know,
else
you
I
know.
take. Any like a situation is gonna be like, yo, even if there's nothing to protect yourself from, sometimes energy wise, that's not the pussy you're supposed to be in at that moment.
You can't just be horny and
Yes.
just want to
And just
just
because
fucking
pussy's
shit.
in
do
front of
anybody.
you, you're gonna
And then,
fuck it.
do you believe in soul ties? Like, we was talking about it, and she was like,
I'm
"What is
big
soul
on
ties?
soul
Whatever."
ties.
And she don't really believe in it. I believe in it.
You wanna know
Like,
how big I believe in soul ties?
What?
I feel like if I hug you long enough with the right intentions, we tied souls.
wow, merge energies.
Oh.
I'm being dead ass because
She don't believe in that.
do you believe in, you know what equilibrium is?
What is that?
Equilibrium is when two things come in contact with each other, they exchange energy until they become the same temperature. So it's like when you put a blanket on, you notice your blanket is cold for a second, but after the blanket is over you, after a while, you notice the blanket is warm. That's equilibrium. It's because you're passing energies back to it. So you come in contact with somebody else, you're exchanging energies with each other back and forth, that if you're around them long enough, y'all become similar frequencies and similar energies.
That makes sense.
So you're taking on characteristics from them that you don't even realize that you're doing. It can be something small as mannerism, something small as the things that they say. After a while, like even after having sex with somebody, after a while, you start to develop physical characteristics of that person. That's actually scientifically proven. So that's all based off the energy that you exchange with each other. Because it's adapting to yours and making it malleable. So when you come around each other, it don't have to be a clash. It can just go in sync.
Isn't that weird?
That's
That
a
you
soul
just start-
tie?
That's a soul tie.
That
You feel like
let-
you can do that with a hug, though?
Yes. Listen, I
So
only
looking
say
like
that-
somebody?
No, I only say that because
That's
I know
mystical
for a
shit.
fact my energy's that strong. Just because you don't have the intention of that doesn't mean that's not the reality. Because more people underestimate their power more than others. Because especially as black people, we're more energy inclined than others and don't even realize it. Just because you're not educated about how energy is and what energy is, don't mean you're not facilitating on what energy is. When you come across somebody, just because you don't know what it is, don't mean there's not an exchange there.
Where's the weed?
I'm about to roll up some.
And you can take some of that, too, if you want.
Thanks. Definitely will. 'Cause I need to smoke some weed.
No,
A little
but
bit too deep.
again, like this is the conversation that we
That's
had.
what she said.
Yeah,
That's
this is
what
the
she said.
conversation we had about spirituality and religion. Is because like I grew up on religion, but as I started like finding myself more, I could only speak for me. Like I
Right.
started realizing the difference between spirituality and religion. Like I started realizing that energy is spirituality.
Okay.
And energy is currency between two people because everything that you do requires some form of
Energy.
Everything.
Facts.
So how can you not say it's not an exchange? Just till you get out of bed, you're exchanging energy. Every single thing. And like the conversation we had at one point, I tell people it's to the point that you can measure energy. It's measurable. So you can't tell me it's not real in any way, shape, or form. It's to the point where I believe in energy so much that it's my God. It is my God. When you tell me, do I believe in God? I tell you, I believe in energy. That's what it is with me.
I believe in both, though. Am I like wrong or
But to me,
'Cause I
God
believe in
is
both.
energy, so it's the same thing.
right?
I believe,
but
as
I
long as
do
you believe
kind
in
of
something, you all right.
right.
Because some people don't believe in anything
At all.
That's crazy.
No,
kinda
that's not
freaks
true.
me
Because
out.
even atheists believe in something.
Right,
They believe in nothingness.
Just because they don't believe in a God, don't
Right.
mean they don't believe in a higher
Sense.
power.
right. That's what I'm saying. You kind of have to
Yeah,
believe in something.
everybody believe in something.
Right.
Even back in the day religions when they had multiple gods, they still had a God. It's just a matter of what the God was and what it symbolized.
You know what kind of
Right.
makes the most sense? Reincarnations.
I actually feel like I'm in the middle of my reincarnation to get back to the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden to me is heaven. Because
Okay.
if we're ever gonna put a physical place to something, it has to be the Garden of Eden. Because if you read any story about the Garden of Eden, we were black people who were chilling with tigers.
So why do you feel like you're at that stage? You said you feel like you're
I'm finally basically stripping myself of my earthly curse.
What's your earthly curse?
like
Always
explain
being
that.
reincarnated back to another vessel on earth. So you're not living a proper life. You're not living the life you're supposed to live to be indoctrinated back into the Garden of Eden because it's all about living a pure life, and we're not living a pure life.
It's like living your true self,
Yeah.
like following exactly what your destiny, like what you feel
Exactly.
naturally.
And we're not
Okay.
doing that as a
We're
people.
we're not.
So that's why we keep getting
expensive.
reincarnated back onto Earth. Because energy-wise, it is. Because it takes a lot out of you, especially if you're already societally taught to be a certain way, or you think that this is the way to prosperity. Because a
Right.
lot of people, they're misguided.
Yeah.
They don't know what they want
Pictures
out
are
of life.
painted
Yeah,
and-
so it's like, yeah, I'm striving for this, but you don't. Reality is you're backtracking,
Yeah.
and
They're
don't
trying to get to
realize
it the wrong way.
and
you
they
know?
go so far without going nowhere.
Exactly.
And that's the problem with society. Like we go
Yeah.
so far without going nowhere that we end up starting back in the same place.
Yeah.
And we don't realize that because every time like you think of the 1970s and 1950s, like, oh, we made progress, you know, as black people, we here, we this, we that.
Right.
But if you strip all of that and look at us just as humans, and then you strip all of that and just look at us as souls, you realize we went nowhere. Literally.
And that's the saddest part.
Nowhere.
I swear, when you really think about it, it's definitely.
We're arguing
Like-
about Hitler.
Yeah.
We're arguing about
It's
the
like we
Great
went
Depression.
nowhere. Yeah.
We're arguing about shit that literally
After all
have
these years.
Nothing
no
to do with us.
meaning
Not to us.
to us as people. But yet we think we're making progress. We think we're making stride because black people can vote.
Yes.
Because-
Like the little
No,
things.
and
like,
I'm gonna say because women have more rights. And in my opinion, if you
Like,
in
that's the
my
end
world,
all.
if you're in my world, women are gods.
and
If
we
you're
are.
in my world, because I don't see anything more powerful than a black woman,
Yeah.
spiritually speaking. Like I already know, like one of the first and original asexual creatures was black people, black women.
Yeah.
Black women were able to procreate without the source of a man.
And the natural instinct, like we're more in tune
Hey,
than anyone.
that's
Like
kinda
so in
crazy.
tune.
Like nigga, think about the fact that a woman is so powerful that she can determine when her body becomes fertile.
Yeah.
That's what that means. It doesn't mean that you have to have intercourse, because intercourse just facilitate a process. That's all that is. So imagine the fact that a woman is so powerful that she can mentally induce that process within her body because she feels she's ready physically to be fertile.
We can do anything.
Period.
I can go fight a war for 6 months straight or 3 years straight. But the minute that war is over and I come home, I can settle down and be feminine enough to let my body take its natural state of being fertile and bringing life to this world. That's literally how life is. Literally.
Do you think it's weird when some men aren't like they don't feel like that? Like they don't feel like that's
It is
what
very
their natural,
weird.
Yeah, like their natural instinct to want to settle down and want to have a woman, want to have a family, want to
because
procreate.
now you're tainted by society, bro, and you think it's cool. Like you think
That's such a lonely life.
You think degrading women in these subconscious ways is cool. That's not the way we're supposed to do, and it's far from it. We're actually slowing our progress in so many ways.
What do you think is the biggest like effects on men? You know, being mature in that sense, and like
We're afraid to be vulnerable.
but why though? Like, is it because it's so cool for you guys that like why
We don't know
though?
the power of it.
You can't be vulnerable in a society that one man on man. Yo, bro, suck it up, bro. You be alright.
You don't get no power from somebody telling you to suck it up.
Man on a woman, you're a man.
But the minute we get with a woman and they allow us to be vulnerable,
but that's
comfortable,
different. That's different,
do you know how much we grow?
But you know
as
what's
a
sad?
person?
Some people don't
How
know how
many
to
times-
appreciate
how many
that.
times
Like
they
they never
cry
had it.
around you, like
Swear to
On
God.
some
They don't know how to
shit.
appreciate it.
Yes.
Yo.
Snotty knows everything. Like
Because that environment is welcoming.
Yes,
Yeah.
because it's especially when it comes to a woman who's not gonna make you feel like you're less of a man. That's the
real
that's the
woman.
key part. Because as men, we want to be vulnerable. With Quell, to keep it a buck, like we talked all the time. Like Quell knows me better than a lot of women. Not to say like that's weird or anything. It's
You
because
spend more time.
for 3
you
years
know,
of doing
yeah.
this podcast,
You spend a lot of
we
time.
have to
Good,
learn
bad.
that, like, bro, if we don't express ourselves in certain ways, this podcast is not gonna last.
facts.
It's not. Like, because the things that really prevent us from being creative have nothing to do with the podcast. It's our personal life.
Wow. Didn't
It's
you
life.
just tell me that?
It's life.
It's life. But the reason why we last for 3 years
Facts.
is because we had the initial conversation where we said to each other, like, yo, bro, no matter what life puts onto us, every week we have to put out an episode.
You gotta do
We had that conversation.
Yeah.
So we
It's
said, it was like,
important.
yo, that's why I said when his daughter was being born, we thought it was like, yo, how can we make sure we don't lose that week of putting out content?
We just put out. We just
We-
recorded a lot.
A lot. In
You
one
did
week.
the opposite.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In 1 week, we did 5 episodes.
Damn.
We recorded 5
That's
episodes in 1
dedication.
week, but
That's-
we didn't put out every week. You know, we didn't put
Yeah.
out that 5 episodes right away.
But the consistency was
Exactly.
There.
So when
You
his
know.
daughter is
There.
born now, he don't have to focus on making sure he's here every week just to put out a
Yeah.
fucking episode.
You have enough
He can be a
content.
dad
Yeah.
and raise his newborn and
did
be
it the
there
right
for whatever
way.
obstacles come up.
We have to set that. We got to set that in play, though. We have to make sure we
Yeah.
had that.
Exactly. So, to me, I made sure that I realized, even though I know I'm not in his situation, I have to understand his situation. And that's why I made sure, like, yo, bro, before your daughter come, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this, just because we can now. I like whatever comes with it, whatever blame, whatever yelling, whatever consequences come with, let's just take it, because it's less now than if we were supposed to do it when your daughter is here.
Exactly.
So I took it upon myself. It's like, yo, if we're gonna last, this is what I have to do.
Yeah.
And we did it, and he was cool with
That's
it.
big of you that some people aren't able to do that, and I feel like that's why it flows so good and like naturally because you were able to understand and be like, all right,
But also,
let me just work around it.
It's also, I gotta understand. We understand, like, yo, this is something that we're doing, and we have to take it very seriously. So when there are times we gotta buckle down, we got 4 or 5 episodes or 4 or 5 things to do this week. We gotta be on top of our shit. We gotta be on top of our shit because there's a lot of long nights.
And even if we're not recording, we're editing. And even if we're not editing, we're brainstorming. Like every time, like even if we're just smoking here, it's still
Talking about
work because you
It's
gotta figure
flowing,
out
yeah.
what's next. You gotta
Right.
figure out what we're doing.
Coming up
next.
with ideas. It's a
Exactly.
process.
It's a fucking process. And
Yeah.
like as you see, this is our team. Like this is us. Like
Yeah.
if one person don't do it, it don't get done. So
Yeah.
we have to figure out like, all right, when am I at my threshold? So you should pick up where you're at. Like that was our next obstacle, because I was the one who took on a lot of shit.
Exactly.
And this man went out of his way and got everything that I got to do what I needed to make sure he can participate the way he needs to, pull the weight that he needs to.
Right.
So now I don't have
Work
to
together.
stress myself the way I need to know. So it's like if I'm going through a rough period, or I'm just drained from work, because like I'm work just have me all over the place right now. So if I have those days, I don't have to feel bad like, oh shit, nothing's gotten done for the podcast. Oh shit, I
Right.
don't have no content. This man is on top of it. So we're at a point where it's like we can literally just be our true selves now. We know what we're missing, and we know how to go about it and what we're willing to do about it. Like I know what sacrifices he's willing to make, so I don't have to talk to him every single fucking time. Like, yo, bro, can you do this? I'm like, I know he's willing to do it
Yeah.
as long as it's in means. That's it.
Yeah, you guys have been through all that stuff and was able to kind of like
Exactly. We already
understand how
know
y'all work and like, you
we
know
know
what
what it
works
is at this
for
point.
y'all.
Like I said, at this point, we already know what it is. Like it's
Honestly, bro, I'm gonna give a full transparency moment real quick, because a lot of people don't know this, but I think around the beginning of the year, weed and whiskey almost had a major change.
yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
In what way?
He was almost not on the podcast no more.
Why?
It was just a.
Yeah, let's talk about it from both of our perspectives, because I
Alright,
know
go
we
ahead,
see
go
it
ahead.
different.
Go ahead.
Because for me, it's because I felt like I said, I'm single. I don't have as much responsibilities as this is, so I can dive in harder than he can. So sometimes I felt like I was limiting the platform just because we both can't do things. And because I was so adamant on this weed and whiskey can't survive without the both of us, that I felt like I couldn't do certain things without him. So I was like, yo, bro, like we have to make a decision at some point. Like, can you do this more? Can you do this more? And honestly, I almost put him to the ultimatum was, I'm going to be real. I put him to ultimatum. It's like, yo, you have to make a decision. Can you keep doing the podcast, or should I go my separate way?
It got to that point.
It got to that point.
And I get that, because the way it was because we grew so crazy, and my life grew crazy too. So it's like
At the same time.
It's at the same time. So
It was so hard to
finding a
juggle.
balance,
That
which
balance.
Yeah.
at this point where
I can
realize
imagine.
the balance ain't gonna really happen that way. It's always gonna be one or the other, or an imbalance. It's always gonna be an imbalance. But the game is not the game, but the thing is to not satisfy both parts, but do your part in both ways.
Yeah.
So everybody, it's still in balance, but at least you put in your part in. You know what I'm saying? That was the thing. So when it happened I just felt like exact opposite. I'm going through a lot too. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing a lot, but it's not a lot here. So I'm like, all right, you know what? I gotta at least do my part here.
And I felt bad.
Because I can't do my part at home, but do something else I love, because I love doing this shit. This is my thing right here. Like, I'm gonna quit my job.
It's your passion.
Yeah, then we gonna do this shit.
We're in debt for this podcast.
Exactly. I'm gonna invest in this
I'm
shit.
being
You
real.
have to invest
We're
in yourself.
debt for this podcast. 3 years
And it's
coming
gonna come
up,
and
we're
it's
in
coming
debt.
back. And it's
Like
coming back.
everything we spent on here is just so we can keep going. It's not for a return. Literally, it's not to even break even. It's just so we can keep going.
Right.
All the sacrifices we made, all the time we put aside, all the money we put into this shit is just so we didn't quit. Everything in here, honestly. So, now we're at
respect
a
it.
point. It's like you have to pay us, bro. You have to.
That's it.
Like we put so much to make sure we can even be at a place to say we're still going. Like, do you want to capitalize off our hard work without compensating?
You have to compensate.
That's not fair.
That's not business.
That's not
Right.
business. Because you're not gonna ask a
How are we
nigga to
getting
record your
further?
song for free.
Right.
And you
Time
know what
is
else I'm
money
tired
and-
of? People wasting our time.